Okay, so today, obviously we start with our quiz, and then we're going to finish up 2.2 histograms, and then we're going to cover 2.3 graphs, other graphs. We'll get a little bit into chapter 4, just a tiny bit. Don't forget Sunday. Your first homework is due when? Monday. No. Sunday. Your first homework is due Sunday online. So again, guys, when's your first homework due? Sunday. That's like in like 3 days, something like that. Yeah.
Is it by Sunday, 11:59?
Yep. And so that's due online on Connect Math. Then Monday, you have your next one due, the very next day. Then Tuesday, you have your very next one due. The reason being that chapters 1 and 2 are not that hard. That gives you a little more room. Technically, the first one should have been like probably Friday, but that's okay. That gives you a little more room for the ones for chapter 4. You can space those out a little bit more because you're gonna want more time for those. Chapter 2 will have some odd things with it. You're going to want to try chapter 2 homework before you come in on Monday. Because if you don't try it until you leave class and you hit an issue with it, you will not be able to get the answer in class, and you're just going to be stuck on it. You won't be able to do it. Does that make sense? They're not problems that are. It's not because it's hard. It's like it's weird. There's like a little just the process of getting the graphs in the right spot and like input correctly is a little bit weird. So that's you'll need that one. And same thing Tuesday, especially Tuesday. Actually, more so on Tuesday, I think. Good. Also, don't forget there are quizzes. After every single homework, there is a quiz. It is 2 problems that was in your homework, typically, just to make sure that you actually know how to do them without the help buttons. And I would suggest that you do them right after the homework, because it's fresh in your mind. Just do the next 2 problems, knock them out, and be done with it. Okay, but those are due the next day after the homework. Question?
Yes. I overheard from another student that the lab was due on Monday. Is that not going to be posted on the agenda, and that's just our own responsibility to follow suit with it?
No, there's not a lab due on Monday. Oh, there is a discussion board due on Monday.
Okay.
But there's no lab. Was there a lab?
Yeah,
okay, so I need to change that. It's not due until, it shouldn't be due until October 5th. Right. So I will change that. Thank you.
So, with the labs, are they something that we should plan on and take a couple weeks to do?
Hey guys, I can't hear her. What was that?
What's like the time estimation for how long we should be working on the labs? Like, should we prepare to work on them a few weeks before they're due, like a project?
So usually a week before the lab, guys. Usually a week before the lab, I'll tell you about it. The labs I'm doing this semester, because we're kind of in COVID, are really they're the old labs. So they're really pretty basic. They're not hard. They don't have a whole lot to the class, but they're not difficult. And we have to do labs because the only way for the UCs and the Cal States to accept this class is that they have the labs. So it's just you have to do it. Sorry. So I've done videos for all the labs.
Thank you, sir.
And you just have to basically watch the video and follow along and do the lab. Now after the 4th lab, the last 2, I make you kind of think a little bit more on your own. So I give you the video, but I don't give you everything in the video. I make you kind of stand on your own a little bit more, those last 2. Okay, good. So one other thing, just as another quick mention is don't forget, if you have taken Math 40 before, and you've already paid for Connect Math, you do not have to pay for it again. Send me your name, what semester you took it, and who you took it from, and I can get you, and I can update your code. Another thing you'll notice in Connect Math is you have to pay for Connect Math, but the good thing about it is it has all this stuff to help you that you're paying for. So for example, the ebook is in the corner when you log into Connect Math, and that you can see it circled in the upper right corner. Also, there's this resources tab right there in red. Also circled. If you go to that resources tab and then go to the videos, there are videos for every chapter, every section. And that's one of the things, reasons why I picked this book, because it had good videos. So those videos will help you through any other stuff that you need. So make use of those. All right, the other assignment coming up is your discussion board assignment. That is due on Monday as well. So that is introducing yourself, share 3 interesting facts about yourself, upload a photo if you want. That's kind of optional actually. And then do that by Monday, and then by Thursday, read through some of your classmates' ones, find 3 people who you connect with, like something they said like resonates with you, and respond to that in like a meaningful way. Don't just say, hey, I like that, that was cool. No, that's something like solid, right? Give them some solid comment back. Relate to them in some way. Good? Okay. Canvas. Okay, so Canvas, on Canvas, here's our Canvas site. So if you start here, go to the start here. You'll see this first part up here is all sorts of just information about our class, office hours, our handouts, things like that. Our Excel labs are in here also. So our first one is due on October 5th. So I'll change the other thing to fix that. My theory is this, and then they kind of stack up. It's like the 5th, then the next week, then the next week, then the next week. My theory was this. First, I wanted to make sure that you guys focused on getting the homework started. Right, you got going on the homework, got that squared away. Next week, I want to get you guys going and preparing for the exam, because the exam's the week after that. So that's kind of my big push that week. And then the week after that, I'll kind of get you guys started in on the Excel lab, which is due before the exam. However, this is how it works with all labs. It's due on the 5th. That is when it's officially due. So you should be starting on it, working on it, trying it. Then if you have problems, that's okay, because you can turn it in late for full credit a week later. Does that make sense? But I do not want your sob stories happen on the 5th, because that's when it's due. Does that make sense? You get this week grace to take care of all your issues. My printer's not working, or you have to print it, but I couldn't figure out this, that, or the other, right? I couldn't get Excel working. So the official due date is before the exam. However, you can turn it in late for full credit the week after that. Good? 1 week after that, so the 12th. So October is when I'm going to kind of get you guys going, just get all the kind of labs kind of knocked out for a while. So you'll have like 3 or 4 in a row, and then you'll have a little break, and then you'll have the last couple ones. We'll kind of do it like that. Okay. The other thing going on is if you look at this module 1 down here, there's PowerPoints, which all the PowerPoints we do are in there. These are actually from last semester. I have to upload the new ones in there as I do them. But there's this 4 PDFs, and that is the stuff that we covered last class. So everything we did is all in here. It's all written in. So if you need to go through the notes and stuff like that, it's all there, the way that you guys saw it in class. The other thing that's in here is the links to the videos. So this is the video of last class. I just changed it so they're now public so you can watch them all. But you can watch the videos in there if you want. And the last part is the study guide. So the very best way to prepare for the exam is my study guide. The study guide has problems super, super similar to problems you're going to hit on the exam. I'll hand it out in class. Oh gosh, soon I guess, a week before the exam, so that should be next week. And the best way to prepare is to do the problems on the practice exam. Do them first, then check your answers, because that way you know what you think you got right, but you didn't get right. You know what you need to prepare for, what you need to study, and stuff like that. So do them first. The solutions are up there. There's also some other practice stuff which we have, which we're going to be doing in class. But the solutions to those problems that we do in class are going to be up there if we don't get to them. And also some videos of previous review sessions are in there. The way it's going to go for that week is this week we're meeting 3 days a week. Next week we're meeting 2 days a week. The following week is your exam week. we'll meet on Monday, the 4th, but then the 5th, oh, when it's due, actually, okay, so after that's not gonna happen. You guys do not need to come to class. Right? I'm gonna give you guys a day off. If you want to come in and prepare for the exam, you can come in and ask questions, we'll do a little review and stuff like that, but it's totally optional. Does that make sense? If you need a break, that's your day, it's kind of your break day, and then the exam will be on Thursday. Good? Okay, so that's the plan for a little while. Yeah?
The date that we don't have to come to class is the 5th, right?
Is the 5th,
Just make
October 5th.
Okay,
Yep.
thanks.
Yeah.
So that's the day before every exam? Like
No.
the last class meeting before every exam? Or
It worked out this one. It may not work out like that next time. It's got, because it depends upon, I'm trying to get you guys so you have a break roughly once a week. Sorry, not once a week. Every other week. Right. So I'm trying to work that, and sometimes I have a natural, like there's flex day. So we're gonna have flex day off, right? So that automatically we're only gonna meet 2 days a week that week. So the next week we'll meet 3 days a week, right? So I'm trying to space it out so that basically I kind of try to pick them so you guys don't burn out. Because 3 days a week is a lot, right? So that's my goal. Kind of try to pick them in whatever way I can. Yeah. Go ahead.
So on exam days,
Yes.
after you do your exam, do we like
So that's a really good question. You guys want to hear the answer?
Yes.
Okay, what's your question again?
I was asking on exam days, do we have to stay the whole time after we're finished with the exam, or can we leave?
Right, so as soon as the exam is over, as soon as you finish your exam, you're free to go. Good. Most of you, it'll take you roughly an hour and a half to do it. Most people. It's built to be an hour and it's built so that it shouldn't take people more than an hour and 50 minutes. But I'll probably give you guys 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'll probably give you 2 hours and then like 15 minutes bonus time. All right, so just a quick review of chapter 2. So what we'll do is every class will second half of class usually be learning new material, and then the first half of the next class will be kind of reviewing that material, right, with a quiz and then kind of going over it. So just as a reminder, a frequency distribution helps us understand the nature of distribution. So this is how we organize our data, right, into classes and frequencies. And then we have relative frequencies, which is kind of the ratio, it's kind of the percentage that's in each class. So you take the frequency, the number of data items in that class, and you divide by the total number of data items, right? You take your class frequency, the number of people in that class, divide by the total people, or the total number of data items you have. That gives you your ratio, your relative frequency. This is all just review, so hopefully you are having down your notes already. Problem number 1 on the quiz, this is what it should look like. Check your answers. So here are our classes, the possible answers that people gave, and this is how many people were in each of those classes. And then here's the percentage of people, right, the decimal number of people in each class. So 10% in this class, 0.1 in that class, 0.1, 0.3, 0.50, 0.45, and 0.05. Sorry. 0.05. Cumulative frequency, remember that's how many cumulative, so from the beginning up to that point. So count how many people are in that class or a previous class. Right? It's counting everything up to that spot. So here I'll give you an example of cumulative frequency here. So this, if we were to do cumulative frequency, I'll do a new one. Ah, wrong one. So if we're going to do cumulative frequency, I'll put it in here. Cumulative. How many people are in the first class or class before it? One. Yeah. How about the next class? There's 9 in that class plus 1 before it? 10. 10. 6 in the next class plus 10 before it? 16. 18. 20. Good? Everyone on board? By the time you get to the end, this number here, this 20, the total, had better be the same as that number there, or you've done something wrong. Okay. Group frequency distributions. So we talked about those last class, right? It's when you have large amounts of data, you can't just have one for each class, so you group them. They should have equally, the classes shall be equally sized. They shall be the same size, the same width. Not meaning the same frequency, that means the same width, the same number of possible values, right? The width. Except for it could be open-ended on the bottom or the top. So here it's open-ended on the top, right? 70 and above. There's some rules. Again, we talked about in the last class. I'll just go over them briefly. You should have between 5 and 20 classes. Less than 5 classes is not enough. It doesn't give you enough detailed picture of your data, so you have to have at least 5. More than 20 is just too crazy. You know, it's too many. It's too diverse. So it's kind of too many to wrap your heads around. So it should be between 5 and 20. That's how many classes you should have. They should be mutually exclusive. In other words, they shouldn't overlap. You shouldn't have a data value that belongs in 2 classes. You can't double count anybody, right? They should be continuous. In other words, there shouldn't be gaps in it. You shouldn't. If you go from 0 to 5, you can't start to go from 10 to 15. You can't leave 8 and 9 with nowhere to go, right? It should be no gaps in the middle. It should be exhaustive. In other words, it should include all your data. So if your data goes to 65, you can't stop at 60. Your classes should, cover all of it. And they should be equal in width. They should all be the same width. Lower limits. Remember lower class limits? Those are the smallest value can be and still be in that class. So these are all the lower limits. So data value can be that number, those numbers. That's the smallest the number can be and still be in that class. Likewise, you have upper class limits. Right? That's the largest value can be and still be in that class. So those are what data values can be. So these class limits represent possible data values. Then you have boundaries. Boundaries, data cannot be a boundary. It's a boundary. So remember that here's 15 centimeters, there's 14 centimeters, the boundary between us is 14 and a half. No one can be that. You can only be 15 or 14 or 16. Right? Boundaries, people can't be boundaries because those are between your values. So these are the boundaries between the classes. So for example, between these 2 classes is 69.5. Between these 2 classes, between this class and that class, is 89.5. Good? Okay. Also remember, boundaries will always have one more decimal place than your original data is in. So you can just take the last upper limit, 69, add a 0.5 to it, add a 5 in the end, right? 0.5 on the end, and that's the boundary, 69.5, between that and the next class. That's the shortcut. Good? All right. Did I get nods? Give me nods if you. Let me know where you guys are at. You guys totally got it, kind of have it, not so much. Give me where you guys are at. I need to know where you guys are at. All right. Width. Okay, so again, this is if you have. These are when all these situations are when you're given a frequency distribution. You didn't make it, someone else made it, right? Someone else has made this distribution, you know what the class width is. All the class widths, how do you find the class width? All the classes are separated by a class width. So you take 2 classes that are in a row, and you find the difference between them. So here's 2 classes in a row. I'm going to look at their lower class limits and find the difference between them. Or I can take these two classes and take their upper limits and find the difference between them. Or these two classes in a row, I can find the difference between those two things. That's how you find class width. 130 minus 110, 20. That's the class width. So the class width is not within a class, it's from one class to the next class. How far is it? Good? We weren't sure about that earlier. I want to go over that. Midpoints. So that's the, anytime you have the word mid, mid means in the middle. So midpoint means in the middle of the class, you're going to take the two ends, you're going to average it. Anytime you have a mid, you're going to average, you're going to take the two ends and average it. So here you're going to take 50 and 69, average them to get 59.5. So, yep, so there's 50 plus 69 divided by 2, I get 59.5. And here's the beauty of it. What's my class width?
5.
For this one? 20. So if you look at all the midpoints, they're all separated by how much? 20. A class width. So again, between classes, from one class to the next class, they're separated by a class width. So you take their, you want to take the midpoints? They're all separated by a class width.
So technically you only have to find the first midpoint.
What was that?
So technically you only have to find the first midpoint.
Yes, exactly. And you also only have to find the first lower class limit. Then you can find all the rest of the lower class limits. Does that make sense? You just add the class width. So that's how you get all the rest of the classes, by adding the class width to get to find the rest of them. Exactly. All right, so here was your quiz problem number 2. Identify the class width, class midpoints for the following. Do you guys need like another 60 seconds to try to sort this out? Yeah. Okay, take 60 seconds now that we've kind of reviewed it a little bit.